complaints at all from me. It's been a busy few weeks, man. Busy month or so, but it's been good.
So we're on a live call here as well. So I've got Substack Live going. You won't see it. It's on my phone, but it's basically I'm building a really interesting community through my blog, newsletter. I've already mentioned the importance of coaches working with S&C's movement. Just that collaboration really to kind of tease and squeeze the most kind of potential and talent out in it. So I've already mentioned that in newsletters and stuff, but I just thought I'd pop on a live. There's nobody on here yet, but they'll get the recording and stuff. That'll be good. So you're going all right, mate? You've got a coat on. What's going on,
mate? It's cold, mate. It's cold in Melbourne. It's freezing. Nah, not that freezing. It's about 17 today, but it's actually going to heat up again. So it's one of those days, one of those times in Melbourne where it's like freezing in the morning and night, but during the day it's all right. So it's like minimum of like 3 or 4, max of 20. Yeah. So it's just also in between. So it's starting against the afternoon now, and I'm going to be outside coaching all afternoon. So I know I'm going to need the jacket.
This is what I remember about Melbourne. It felt climate-wise very English. I was over there in March time. This is years ago. Mm-hmm. And it felt very English, which kind of drew me towards it. I reckon if I ever chose to or had the opportunity to move over there, I'd definitely choose Melbourne for sure.
Very English. I think it's been weird that these last few years, it's like the climate has shifted. So it's like March is now sort of like summer, whereas I used to sort of end of February. So I feel like it's like moving like a month back over the past few years. Our March is really hot now, but now we're probably getting March weather now in May. So yeah, it's interesting. But no, I reckon we're in our last week or two of like good weather, and then it'll probably start. Melbourne winter's horrible, freezing usually.
Yeah, I bet it's terrible.
Yeah, as you would know. How's the weather? It looks like it's pretty sunny out there in Birmingham.
I love getting up early, as you know. It basically means I can crack on with some work before anyone else gets up. But I'm loving getting up now, and it's light. And I'm in our conservatory, just looking out over the garden. Cut the grass yesterday. I look after my grass. And I'm just loving it, watching squirrels. We got a big-ish garden. It's too big. I can't keep on top of it, really. But I'm really enjoying the weather is getting there. We've had some really warm days. It's supposed to be getting up to like 19, 20 over the next few days. We've got a big game coming up in front of us. But yeah, it's just nice to put on a pair of shorts every now and then, I'll be honest.
Oh, is it 100%? Yeah. How much easier is it to do life in shorts?
Oh, it's amazing. It's just like it's the vitamin D, mate. It's the sun. It just brings out there's so much more energy, and you just keep going. It's brilliant. We've got our last training day today before we start against Surrey, the reigning champions, tomorrow at Edgbaston. So we're all really looking forward to that. We beat Yorkshire in 2.5 days up in Leeds last weekend. So that was a great win for us. Yeah. I mean, any win is a great win, but it was great because we're having longer periods of where we are pushing pressure onto. We're basically executing a plan for longer periods of time, and we're getting results for it. Not necessarily in those moments, but we're picking up on the fact that actually down the line, down the game, because of what we're doing in that particular period of the match, we're getting some rewards. And I'm talking a lot, and I've picked up and talked a lot about the importance of keeping the game quiet. If that's what we need to do in that period of time, keeping the game quiet. And we've got some bowlers that are keeping the game quiet. They are not getting any wickets, but there are wickets being taken the other end. And also, I've started looking at how many wickets fall at the end of a bowler's spell, because they've kept the game quiet. So we had a couple of games ago, we had a bowler that took 1 wicket in the game, but actually it's like a football assist. But actually he had a part to play in 5 wickets being taken in the game, 5 out of 20, and really placing a value on not looking at the wickets column, just doing your job. Bowling, when you're in that rhythm, bowling as long a spell as you can, but also knowing you're going to have to come back down the line as well. So not tipping over the edge to impact on performance for your second, third spell sort of thing. So we're going all right at the moment. I mean, we've got a few people on the call here now. I'm on a Google Meet call with a highly rated S&C coach that I'm doing some online work, and Jason Cox, we'll put your Instagram username on here at the end. Jason Cox is doing some great work with some online clients that I'm working with, so we're just jumping on a call. Is there anything in particular you want to talk about on this? I've got one thing, but is there anything in particular you want to cover?
Matt, I'm actually pretty keen to hear about what you've got to say about your season so far and how you're finding it, I reckon, and how the boys are going in the season. I'm finding that really interesting, the data you go into there around that stuff. That's like actually like, like the cliche of like bowling and partnerships and things like that. That's like actually like putting some numbers towards it and actually seeing like actually making the bowling unit like one rather than being at like 4 individual people. So I love that.
I think it's really important to champion players that are not making the headlines. What are they doing? There was, I might have mentioned this to you before, but years ago, this was a topic of conversation, right? How can we place a value and champion the players who just go about their business in a quiet way? They don't score hundreds, they don't take fifers, but they do something, because every time they're playing in the team, we create more chances or we end up winning, but they are never the player that takes the headline. And I remember reading an article, can't even remember the name of the player, it was a basketball player. And every single time this particular basketball player played in the NBA, his team had a massively high percentage of wins, but he was never like the one scoring baskets, or he wasn't even covering the most distance on the basketball court. But he was obviously doing something, and they found that they just tracked him for a period of time, and it was his instinct. He was able to be in the right place at the right time at the right moment, and so that was kind of game sense. And every now and then I revisit this concept. What are these people doing? And these players are out there everywhere. Sometimes things like looking after the ball. They look after the ball. They don't bowl the ball, but they look after the ball for swing bowlers to do their work, get the ball swinging. They go and get the bowler's cap and jumper, so the bowler can conserve energy to squeeze another over or 2 out in a spell. So they are covering more distance. Yeah, they are. They put their work rate so that they'll be backing up throws. They'll be congratulating their teammates for a brilliant piece of fielding or something like that. Just really making other people around them feeling really good about themselves. They might not be taking a wicket or anything, but they identify what they need to do for their teammate to make sure their teammate is in the game and focus. You know what I mean? Contributing team talks, challenge their teammates, all of these things that don't get measured and often go unnoticed. These is what these people do.
I love that. I reckon there's actually in my state under 15s tournament, we had our one of our assistant coaches' nickname was Buzz, and we called these things like buzz moments, which is like the things that you do in the field that require like no talent. And this is like 10 years ago now, or more than that. And I still remember it was yesterday, and it was like it's something like it was how many times you like got to somebody after they did something good in the field, so they like did a diving stop. It's like how many players went over and tapped on the ass and things like that. We call them buzz moments, and we actually found that like the more buzz moments we had, the more games that we won. It was actually crazy. Like we started it because we had a good team. Like we had like people that have gone on to play for Australia now in that team, and we were like I think we were 0-2 or something like that. And then like even back then you can tell like people had talent, and then we're like, no, we're going to play more as a team and do more of that, do more of those things. And we cultivated like an environment and it's momentum and it keeps you locked in the game. And it takes no talent, doesn't it? Like, it takes no talent.
It's an attitude thing, and that's what contributors have. They have good attitude, and they understand those things that don't cost anything. We talk about the head coach talks about doing the free stuff consistently well. And it's not taxing. It doesn't take a lot of energy. It just takes a little bit of awareness and care to do the free stuff. And to a large degree, you start moving towards where we need to be in terms of our skills and decision making and things. It's a fascinating concept because lots of people kind of gravitate towards the glamour stuff, don't we? The IPL, test matches and things like that. But it's often always the stuff that nobody sees, either in the game or away from the game as well. I like that, buzz moments. I've written that down. I'm going to use that one.
It's great. It's something culture too. Like even off the field, like from what I was saying, it's like whether it's like in the gym sessions or the running sessions or in team meetings, like someone can bring a little bit of energy. Someone like it creates like that environment. I feel like even like in my setting, like working like in a private space in my gym, like there's some people that come in and they just bring energy to the session and they like just help other people. Like they'll be, let's say they're on a similar program to somebody, they're leaving, they're asking them, oh, do you want me to leave the weights out here for you? And or like, oh, do you need a hand in a spot with this? Do you do you want to do like do you want to work in here with me? And it just creates that environment. And then what happens when people start working in together, it starts getting a bit more competitive, and it's often when you start thinking about other people as well, I reckon, then you take the mindset comes off yourself a little bit, and then you can actually help you. By helping other people can help yourself from a mindset point of view and just getting out of your own head, what a lot of cricketers are like, I've found.
I'm a massive believer in as soon as somebody decides what they want individually, if they help other people achieve what they want, actually it comes back to them. At some point it comes back to them. You've just reminded me, just talking there about as you know, I've been really fortunate, and I feel lucky to have worked with some amazing people. I remember working at Surrey 2013. Mate, we had Graham Smith was the overseas player, but he had to go back home because he had a knee injury. I think Hashim Amla was with us at some point, but Ricky Ponting. So the story is about Ricky Ponting. And I have never seen, it was my first experience of what I consider elite to be, not just the way he trained. Actually, it's quite an interesting story. The day before he was due to make his debut for Surrey, we had a full-on fielding session. Actually, it was 2 days out. Full-on fielding session before we got on a bus to go up to Leeds to play against Yorkshire. And we did this. We set up this fielding station where we were smashing the balls. So I was throwing the ball, good heat, and we had another coach hitting cut shots. And so we had a point and a cover, It was their job to make sure the ball didn't go in between. So Ricky was just literally throwing himself around everywhere. But I couldn't believe how accurate he was where his hand needed to be, because he wasn't just deflecting the ball and stopping it from going through. Mate, he was picking up cleanly on quite a rough outfield. It was ridiculous. But there was this one fielding drill, a piece of fielding in particular, the ball just stuck in his hand, but it made a different sound. I thought, mate, that was brilliant. He got up, popped up, threw the ball at the stumps, hit the stumps. The following day, down at breakfast, the physio came up to my breakfast table, said, I've just got a call from Ricky. He wants me to go to his room, and like alarm bells ringing, like a player contacting the physio directly. Anyway, he didn't break his hand in this fielding session, but he I don't know what he did, bruised his bone or something like that. So anyway, he couldn't play. But going back to the original, so his debut was impacted on because of this fielding session that he was literally throwing himself into. Ricky trained brilliantly, whether it's fielding, batting, but then as soon as he finished his bat, kept his pads on, but he would throw for hours. So he would throw to his teammates and he'd coach them, and he'd give as much as he could to his teammates and stuff. And speaking with other people, I mean, he was one of the best kind of player coaches I'd ever experienced, like just like listening to him. And it was Ricky Pontings. He just gave so much. And I'm not surprised he's turned out to be a really good coach as well. But going back to your point about helping people, and I've just written it down, Ricky Pontings, a brilliant story. But yeah, you're right. Who are the people that give to their team? Who are the people that gel the team together?
It's so important. Like, it genuinely like makes an environment. It doesn't matter like if you're at like an academy session or like at a trial to make a team, at your own club training, in a gym's environment like what I do. Like, those people go further because they make everyone around them better. It's like people talk about LeBron James elevates his teammates' performances. It's like the people who actually give a little bit and are willing to help others out and be a bit unselfish, they're the ones that like take notice. Like, I coach the under 16s, our region side, like the state championships, where it was like the best 16 regions in the state. I coach that team in under 16s, and we pick players based on character and what they brought for the group when picking a team. Because although, let's say, there's someone's bowling skills might have been relatively similar, but their character was just so much higher. They're so much more mature that we know they could deal with adversity. They knew that if someone, they would do anything for the team. Bang, in a high pressure environment like tournament play, cricket, where things are not going to be perfect and you're going to need some resilience, you pick someone with the character on 10 times out of 10, because you know that there's going to have more problem solving to them than that. I think it's just I think it's probably the most important thing, because like, you can always develop skill, but you can develop character. You definitely can, and that's for sure. But it's something that people are less likely to do, because people, I don't think they understand. Some people bring energy and some people take energy from a group, and you don't want to be the one who takes energy from the group, because it really does stand out.
Yeah. The problem-solving thing is an interesting one, isn't it? Because that's the game, isn't it? You've got a problem of the bowler doing something with the ball, whether it's speed, lateral movement, and that it's a problem that needs to be solved. We talk a lot about where's the threat. That's the problem, basically. Where's the threat? What is this bowler good at? Is it a threat? What can I do to combat the threat? Is there any areas I need to close down when I'm batting, because it's more risky with what I know the bowler is going to be trying to do? Hang on, I've got our Seb. Hello, mate. You okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Hey, Seb.
This is Johnson. This is Coxie.
Hey, Seb.
And we're also. Have you shown him what t-shirt you've got on? You got a Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like Spider-Man.
It's
cool.
it's VE day today, so he's got to wear red, white, and blue to school. Victory in Europe. Victory in Europe. 80 years, end of World War II. Right.
Look at that.
I'll come in and see you then.
Yeah.
Is that okay? And I'll make your breakfast. What are you doing up so early anyway?
I wanted to see you.
Okay, right. Just give me a little bit of time. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. What a legend.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Problem solving. I was going to ask you, when you talk about character, and if you've got the pick of one between two players, and you kind of, if the skills are similar, the performances are similar and stuff, then you start going down. Okay, do they have ticks in this area, this area? Have you got any non-negotiables? So if you are, whether it's a team you're working with, or even when you're picking up, because I know you work with some Vic players, right?
Yeah.
Noticed anything about high performers where there are certain non-negotiables in place, or do you insist on any non-negotiables yourself when you're working with people?
Well, I've got actually a good story about that. So my mum knows really nothing about cricket, right? Like she'd go watch all my games and all of that, but she really had she probably let's say I don't know 15s. She probably didn't know too. By the time I got to under 19s and that, she knew a little bit more. So going back to that same state 15s team, Todd Murphy was in that team, and I still train him now. I'm a good friend for 10 years now, and Todd Murphy back then didn't bowl off spin. He was our captain batting at number 4 and bowled seam up, bowled meds. And Mum always said from the very start, his character, he's gonna make it. He's always gonna make it. And I'm like, he's a good bat, but there's other good players out there. There's other gun players that he'll definitely make it. And then he ends up playing going to play for Australia and all that sort of stuff. And Mum's like, yeah. So I told you he's always gonna make it. I'm like, Mum, he wasn't even bowling off spin when you said that. How can you say that? It's you just tell by his character, and just from such a young age, he was doing things in under 17s would go away and would go out for dinner, and he'd make everyone hand their phones in. We're at a restaurant, no one's going on their phones. He's the way how he speaks, how measured. I think he is. Measured and never flustered, never rushed, always in control of the situation. I think that's some of the things that he's really, really good at. And being a really close friend of his now, it's without trying to pump him up too much, something I really sort of admire about him is his ability to just always just be in control of the situation. You can just tell even when he's getting pressured on the field, Stokes is whacking him around. His ability just to go back to his processes and routines and just still try to enjoy the moment. So that resilience piece from him is crazy. I think just really strong values like that, being measured, controlled, calm, being able to problem solve under pressure and be resilient in those situations. And the thing is, he's one of those people too. Is he's giving to people. He's not about himself. He's not I'm the hot shot, Australian player at 22 taking 7 from debut. He's just a normal person who's wants to be for his mates when need be, and also but when he does need to get his work done, needs to get his work done. So I think it's just about almost being as a just normal person as possible, not be too much about yourself, and try and be about the team and those things. I reckon some of the things that stand out to me.
So I've written some names down there: Ollie Pope, Ryan Patel. So some of these names haven't played international cricket, but some players that I believe are squeezing the most out of what they've got. So Ollie Pope, Ryan Patel, David Payne, Jacob Bethel more recently. And the other thing is consistent, caring, challenging. So they're not afraid to ask the questions that in most environments they won't ask.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, why did you change the plan there without communicating it to anyone else? The plan was this, but you executed Y. Is there a way that you could have done that better? I'm just curious as to why you came away from the team plan. You know, people asking those sort of questions, not in a judgmental kind of way, but just in a curious way, and just getting it out there because it creates discussion. And it sounds like Todd Murphy and so many others that do end up playing to the best of their ability. I mean, Ollie Pope, I remember seeing him at like 15, and I couldn't see it, I'll be honest. He was one of those, you know, in those snapshot, your instinct tells you, I just can't see it. People were raving about it. Jamie Smith, there was something about Jamie Smith. There was something about the look in his eye that I was asked to sling to him, and I don't hold back when I sling. So I like slinging fast. It's almost like me being the 85, 90 mile an hour bowler that I never was, but I've got a slinger in my hand. So I'm like,
I hate people like that. I hate the hate in the ribs, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. So I was asked to sling to Jamie Smith, and I'll tell you what, him and Ollie Pope played it so easily. It made me look like medium pace, honestly. And I was getting a load of stick. Come on, Barnes, you ramp it up. But I bloody am. So this Jamie Smith has something about him, just that consistency. What you see when he bats now, just that regular routine. He's got a very unique kind of bat tap on the floor. He was doing it all the way back then, so it's consistent. Of course, he's, in terms of, you know, constructing an innings, highly talented. But there was something about him. He wasn't scoring runs every time he went to the crease, like when he was coming through the pathway. But when he went big, he went big. So there's something about those people, aren't there? Those non-negotiables. Like
one thing as well,
always wearing the right kit, always on time.
One thing there is, I reckon the best I've seen, they're so happy with making mistakes and failing as well. And it's just like, that's the one, it just kind of my head then, sorry to interrupt him. I'm like, that's one thing too, even talking to these people, like they're just like, yeah, I was talking like Toddy around about like when Stokes was getting after and he's like, no, just something to learn from. Not, oh no, it's the end of the world, my career's over. Oh, this is the worst thing ever. I've had the worst day of my life. Like, and like the direct comparison is I have like, you know, 15-year-old kids message me every Sunday when for my online clients. I'll send a message. Oh, how you going? How's the weekend? They're like, oh, I had the worst weekend ever. And then I'm like, and then it's like it's so up and down. Whereas like you know, playing local cricket under 15s, getting a bad decision probably isn't the worst thing ever. Whereas like it's, you know, getting smacked on the big stage and that playing for Australia would seem a lot worse. But the differences in mindset, the differences in the way they dealt with that is so different. And you'd much rather be the one who accepts it. You almost got to be a little bit emotionless. You got to let it sting a little bit. But if you can analyze your performance pretty emotionless, but yep, I didn't do this well. I did this well, so I'm going to probably lean into that more. Next time I'm in this situation now, I'll go a different plan. Bang, move on, train it, go. Like just simple, like just like that, rather than that big emotional up and down, which I see time and time again. Which I was like too. I was the biggest culprit for that when I was 15 myself.
I can see that in you. I was probably the other way. I was probably too casual. That was my issue. Just going back to you mentioned something. Happy to make mistakes and failing. Invariably, there is always an element in their training that it becomes so challenging. It's almost like they thrive on failing because it gives them opportunity to learn. And okay, what I'm currently doing isn't quite working in this situation. What can I do to make it work, sort of thing? And I always think, you know, comfort is the enemy of progression massively. And it's discomfort. I read a book recently where it had exactly that. You know, discomfort is where the magic really lives. You okay, mate? I've almost finished now. And let me say goodbye, and then I'll come in and do your teeth and do your porridge, right? Okay. Yeah. discomfort. And so that's what I'm looking to portray in everybody. You know, the magic isn't in comfort at all. And I guess you experience some of that. I mean, with what you do, I've experienced some coaches that use S&C as a threat because it hurts. It's not nice. You know, doing a 2K run in 7.5 minutes or whatever. It's not nice. You're absolutely blowing. But it's more of a mindset thing. And actually, it's always making the link to, yeah, this running session's going to hurt. You're going to be blowing. But this is how it relates to your cricket. This is how it's going to improve your skills. And that's why, as a coach, that's what I'm interested in S&C. How can I work with you, Jason, or Jacket, who I work with? I need this guy to extend his spells by another 1 or 2 overs. What can you do over the next 6 months to make that happen? And that's the link between coaches and S&Cs, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Spot on. It's about understanding what the gap is. It's just like playing. What's the problem? And then how can we solve it? And I just see it like we're all like assistant coaches. We're all there as coaches. You view it from a tactical lens, and then I'll view it from more of a physical lens, and we probably both view it from a mental, emotional lens as well. And then we all have our little parts of expertise, and bang, let's build together this well-constructed program to help somebody else achieve their goals of playing good cricket, I suppose.
And then you've hit on something there that I absolutely believe is so important, and that is, we're not separate. We're actually all assistant coaches, and finding those ways where we can connect and entwine our own expertise. Because I've said it before that, you know, I'm a bowling coach, but I can't do my job to the best of my ability without an S&C coach. Because any technical change, and sometimes a tactical change, I cannot do my job without asking you, an S&C, what does that look like in the gym? How can I get him into a longer delivery stride? How, you know, in terms of time, and what can you help me? How can you help me in the gym by getting this guy with an arm delay, slightly more upright? I need that front leg to be straighter. How can you help that? Do you mind? How can you help that in the gym? So that mate, in the future, the game is moving forward so quickly. I think S&C, psychologists, physios, they're all assistant coaches. We're all in it for the same thing, and all sharing. Players are sharing everything that they want and need with all of us.
100%. It's everything. It's literally like it. And the fact now that like everybody is sort of now doing it. So like used to be probably a couple of years ago, like if you're just doing S&C, you're probably ahead of most people. Then like now fast forward now, like everybody's sort of going to the gym, or at least in my sort of ecosystem that I'm around. So then it's about who's getting the most out of that. Now it's like who's getting now the most out of your nutrition as well to fuel that, who's doing the best recovery. And it's like as like it's like a rising tide lifts all boats. Like if everyone's doing it, then the standard is lifting for everybody, and which is really exciting for the game. So exciting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Right, Jace, I've got to shoot. I've got to get this one ready for school. It's been a great chat. If there's a few people on here, and actually the video that I'm capturing is going to be shared with quite a few people that subscribe to my newsletter. How can people find you?
Perfect. High Performance Cricket at Instagram. So highperformance.cricket. Find me on Instagram, and YouTube, James Cox, and it's all there.
Yeah, okay. High Performance Cricket. And just to recap, I'm working alongside Jason with a few clients, online clients from around the world, on exactly that basis that we just talked through there. So, this is a bit shorter than normal. I actually quite like it. Just find these little pockets to just get straight into the detail. I know people are going to be really interested in this and future conversations as well. So, yeah. Okay, mate. This has been great. You going to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. Catch you soon. Stay in touch.
No worries, Barnesy. See you later, mate.
Bye.